start it. There's our dominating screen right there for you. If you could just chime in and let me know if you can hear me okay and everything's okay, you can see the screen, that would be absolutely amazing. Awesome. Welcome, everybody. I appreciate that. We're going to start in about 1 minute. You're on here to hear about DS Domination because somebody invited you that loves you, or you're watching their Facebook and they're making more money and you're getting jealous. Either one's fine. And we're just going to show you something tonight we call kind of no hype, no tomfoolery. We're going to actually show you how it works, and you can determine whether or not you can handle it. We think it's pretty easy. My 77-year-old mom thinks it's easy, and I think you will too. So without further ado, my name is Roger Langell. I did $1.2 to $1.8 million in sales, literally from my living room. This is the only hypey thing you'll hear, but I don't know what else to do. It's the true story, and it's been bared out over the years, and now certainly magnified as a lot of people are approaching those numbers and making serious money. We just had a gentleman buy a brand new house with his earnings, and he's only worked with us a few months. So fantastic stuff. But enough about the money, enough about that. We created a system here that allows the average person, the below average person, pretty much anybody to succeed. And a big core component to that was I had this in my mind, in my pocket. I was making money with it for a long time. I couldn't bring it to market till I met a couple gentlemen named Kevin Hokawana and Hitesh of Houston, Texas. Really the brains behind all of this, and he was able to bring this idea, this theory, this money-making machine to market so all of you could now see it, engage in it, start making money with it. Without further ado, I'm going to bring him out here, very talented, very intelligent. He's going to show you a model, not to get a bunch of millions of dollars tomorrow, not something you can't do, but a logical path. And I know you've been on a lot of calls, probably looked at a lot of things, and you know, there's things to do. There's TV on. It's, you know, it's getting colder out, prepping for holidays, all this stuff. And I appreciate you guys being here. You got to be at work tomorrow, possibly. Who knows? But take the time tonight, at least about 15, 20 minutes, to actually see. We're going to roll out a game plan, a life game plan from you from tonight all the way to retirement that you won't see in such short order anywhere else. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, thanks again for being here, Mr. Hitesh.
Well, thank you for that introduction, as usual, Roger. Guys, I want to actually first of all clarify something before we even talk about the meat and potatoes. If you saw the email or if you saw the description of our webinar, you heard, you probably read us say something like that. We said something to the effect of, we're going to show you the exact model of generating a pretty substantial income. It's not going to cost you anything. It's not going to cost you any kind of traffic. You don't have to learn about generating traffic and doing all this, regular stuff that people tell you about. And we will have question and answers. And this is going to be a very non-hypey. We just want to teach you guys how this stuff works. Okay? That's exactly what's going to happen. I know you guys might not be used to that. You might be used to getting on webinars, and then somebody tries to sell you some magical software or some magical method that's going to make you millions of dollars. That's not what's going to happen here. Okay? In fact, let me begin by saying that this is usually what you have been taught in every single situation. This is usually what people talk about. They say, go and find some offer or a product, then create some sales page or find somebody else's sales page, then generate leads with squeeze pages and whatnot, create follow-up messages, and then drive traffic to it. And even within that drive traffic, you might have heard of like these ridiculous sounding terms like PPV or CPV or CPA or PPC or SEO. It's just kind of ridiculous after a while. I just want to know how many on this webinar have ever been told that they could make money doing these type of things? How many of you have ever been told that? Awesome. So, well, not awesome, because a lot of people have been told that, and it's kind of sad, okay, because everybody has been told that. Here's the reality, okay? 98% of the people who use those kind of strategies fail, okay? Now, that's not to say that it doesn't work. Clearly, it works for a very small number of people, but it's because it needs to be a certain kind of condition you have to be in before you get there. But 98% of the people who try that stuff actually take a loss, okay? So what we're going to talk about tonight is actually leveraging 3 different massive companies and platforms out there, okay? I'm going to walk you through that whole process, and we're going to actually show you exactly how to do everything, okay? So here's what we did. We said we don't want to do any of these steps because these steps are clearly ridiculous, right? These are all very technical steps. These are all difficult to do. They're not difficult for somebody like me. I can do these steps in about 10 minutes now, but I know majority of the people cannot, right? And so we don't want to do these steps. And most of all, we do not want to deal with driving traffic. So what we're going to do is we're going to focus on one singular goal to begin with. Our very first step is going to be making immediate profits. And we're going to do that with no technical stuff, with no traffic generation. We're not going to sell something or recruit something, somebody into something, anything like that. We're not going to do any of those things. And we're going to focus on making instant profits. So let me write it out for you guys. Our goal here is low budget and let's say $1,000 per month. That's what we want to get to right away. Okay, that's our goal for our first step, and then we're going to learn how to grow that up. Okay, now you'll see this term over here that I have written. It's called piggybacking. Okay, here's what piggybacking is. You basically go out and you take advantage of things that already exist out there, and everybody does this. Have you ever heard, like, when a local business is opening up, where do they choose to open up? They choose a location where a lot of people already travel, right? They open up next to a busy street or something like that. They're basically leveraging what already exists out there, the traffic that already exists out there. Restaurants do the same thing. They open up next to a place where there are a lot of people already. So what we're going to do is we're going to leverage off of 3 major platforms out there. And you've heard of these things. The first one is called eBay. How many of you have heard of eBay? It's the number 8 ranked website in the United States. We're going to benefit from that. We're going to leverage that. We're going to benefit from Amazon, which is the number 5 ranked website in the US. We're going to leverage that. And then we're going to use a platform that's called DS Domination, which is ranked 788 in the US. So all 3 are massive, massive things. All 3 are basically designed to generate a lot of traffic, a lot of income for people who are plugged into it. The key thing is, how do we plug into it? Okay, so this DS Domination platform, we're going to walk through the whole process of how we're going to actually take this and leverage it to plug ourselves into making money immediately without doing any of the hard work, without doing any of the traffic generation or technical stuff. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pass on the screen to Roger, who welcomed all of you to the call. He's going to actually show us live, exactly step by step, what he has done for a long time to generate over $1 million a year. And he's going to show us exactly how to leverage eBay and Amazon. And here are 2 things that you need to do while you are watching what he's doing. First of all, do not take any notes. Okay, here's why I'm saying that. There is nothing complicated in what he's going to do, so you just need to pay attention. I really just want you to pay attention and understand the process. Second thing you need to do is ask yourself a very simple question. The question you're going to ask yourself is this logical? Can I do this? Okay, that's basically what you're going to ask yourself. So at no point is Roger going to show you his BMWs. He's not going to show you his fancy houses. He's not going to show you anything like that. We're just going to walk through the process, and you guys have to ask yourself, is this logical? Okay, do not think of any emotional stuff, and then ask, can I do this? Does this make sense? Okay, so Roger, I'm going to pass this on to you, and let's see. That should have passed on the screen to you.
I don't have it yet.
Okay, I think you should have it now.
I sure do.
All right, beautiful.
Okay, guys, thanks. I appreciate that and bringing me out here and on. The 2 important points is we're going to show you a stepwise thing. I'm not going to make you retired here the next few minutes or even show you a concept that's going to retire you. We're going to show you something real that's going to put money in your pocket. Again, no note-taking. It's going to be that easy. You might or may or not know this, but Amazon and eBay are kind of mortal enemies, Hatfields and McCoys, and we're the company that's marrying them together, DS Domination. So we're marrying them together, and once we bring them together, it just results in this magnanimous amount of money. I won't show you my my BMWs and stuff like that, but I'll certainly show you my $20 coffee maker right down here. Just kidding. Okay, so I'm on Amazon.com, and the first question is, do you guys know? Can you go to Amazon.com? And of course you can. Now, when you're in the box at Amazon.com, you better learn how to do this with Christmas coming up and stuff like that. You're going to search for something. Can you guys do that? Of course you can. I'm going to type in the color blue, okay? I'm just going to put Amazon behind it because there's some other sellers that sell on Amazon. I don't want to end up with them in my results. So this is exactly what you'll be doing to make money every day. Come down your stairs, come home from work, on your lunch break, whenever you want to do it. You're going to go to Amazon. You're going to type something in the box. Can everybody do that? I'm not even going to look at the responses because I know that's yes. Okay, you click go. Can everybody do that? Of course you can. We got a bunch of results, 2,667,974. All right? Now what do you do with them? Should we sell this? Should we buy this? Should we eat this? Should we get a BMW? I don't know. What we're going to do is say, hey, can I make some money off this thing? I don't know what's going on here yet, but let me see if we can. And what you're going to learn is Amazon's actually going to be your supplier. Imagine if you owned Amazon and you could take every single item and put them on eBay. And whatever they sell for, that's your money. Okay? This is what I'm going to show you. This is how powerful this is. So I'm going to go research this to see if we can make any money off it. So I'm over at eBay. I'm going to type in a few words. Can you guys type in a few words? Of course you can. And I don't mean to keep hammering home a dead horse here, but people will get distracted and they'll start going, well, wait a minute, what about this? But just follow me along. Can you scroll down the page? Of course you can. What I'm saying is, when you look at these pictures here, these are Amazon photos. They're all white backgrounds. This one's taken on someone's porch. That's not an Amazon photo. That should be clear to you. That's not an Amazon photo. But these all white background ones are Amazon photos, okay? So can you recognize an Amazon photo at this point? Of course you can. I'm sorry it's going to drive you crazy. I'm just going to click on one of these, and I'm going to look at it. I'm going to say, okay, I don't care if they sold this. I don't care if they made any money. I don't care anything about this. This is just a starting point. I could just as easily have searched cow on Amazon. I'd be looking at cows right now. Now I'm going to say, all right, Mr. eBay seller Renato123456, what else you selling? I'm going to click on the see other items. And then my big genius breakthrough is he selling things with Amazon photos? Yep. I mean, not rocket science. Yep. Okay. I'm not that smart in a lot of ways. So I look and I say, okay, you're selling Amazon items. Now, if you're making a profit on some of these Amazon items, then I want to make a profit too. So I'm going to click on this first one, $38.95. If you went to eBay right now and you look this up, it'd be $38.95. If you look this one up, it has 0 bids on it. It's an auction. It's got an hour left. You'd see the exact same thing I'm seeing. No gimmicks unless I own eBay and Amazon. Nothing to be fooled by here. I'm going to click on the first one. And it's going to tell me that 3 of these sold for $38.95, and he charges about $3 shipping. So he took in $39 plus $3 shipping 3 different times. 3 customers, each paid him $42. Is that a good price? I barely have a clue what this thing is. I really don't care. It looks like some sort of Spotlight cyborg or something. I'm going to look more into his listing. I'm going to scroll down. I'm just going to grab part of his title. I'm on eBay right now. I'm going to go back to Amazon and say, did you make money off that item? I'm going to paste this in. I'm going to click go. And there it is, $19.99 free shipping. And he sold it for $42. Now don't try and jump ahead. Don't try and figure all that out. And why is the person buying here? And what's going on? Do I have to have garage closed? Don't do any of that. Just go. The difference was $22 because he's got $3 shipping there, right? Sold 3 of them. 3 times 22, $66. That's all I need you to do. I won't fool you. There's a little bit of eBay fees, so you made about $54, $50, $5 for 4 minutes work. Pretty good money. I'm going to go back and I'm going to look at another item just so you don't think it's some sort of just made up thing. Here's a espresso coffee cappuccino maker. The high bid's $51 right now. Still got 14 hours left. It'll probably go higher than that, right? A lot of people bid at the last second. I'm going to go down here and I'm going to copy part of his title. I'm going to go back over to Amazon and say, hey, did you make any money off that? I'm going to take a look. Cost us $41. Had it marked up $10. After eBay fees, made it about $4 or $5. No big deal. 4 minutes work, $4 or $5. I'm sure we're all surgeons on this call. We all make that every day. Just kidding. Here's some sort of fire safe. Right now there's $43, 23 bids on it, 18 hours left. Is that a good price? I don't know. I don't know anything about fire safes or First Alert or whatever this thing is. But when it sells, it's going to take in at least 43 plus 6. This guy's getting $49 minimum from someone. All right? So I'm going to go over to old Amazon and I'm going to say, are you going to make any money off that? I'm going to paste that in and I'm going to click go. Cost us 32. He's got it marked up $17. Okay? So you can see that, yes, he's going to make money off that. And he's going to make money off a lot of stuff. He's going to make a ton of money. I'm going to show you the money exactly right now. Let me go back to this buy it now item right here, this $38.95. And I'm going to show you exactly what's going on here, and then we'll bring up the question, can you guys do phase one towards retirement and start putting money in your pocket immediately? All right? So here's what happens. This person decided to list this item, okay? Sold a bunch of them, made a bunch of money. All they did was they didn't take this and buy 100 of them, put it in their garage, store it, do anything. No money out of pocket, zero. They took this image right here and they moved it over to here on eBay. Then the Amazon description says what? Extremely bright LED, minimum power consumption, 140, fancy word, lumens. Watch this over here on eBay. Extremely bright LED with minimum power consumption, 140 lumens. So can you, with my help and support, if you can't do it already, move a picture and a description from Amazon over to eBay? You're all raising your hands. Of course you can. Okay? So here's what happens. 3 people bought it, right? When the first person bought it for $39 plus $3, $42, eBay said, hey, Renato 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, John Doe just bought your funny light and has sent you $42. It's in your PayPal account. And Renato said, cool. You know what Renato did next? He went over to Amazon and said, all right, I got to spend a few seconds shipping a light out to John Doe. All right, so he came over here. Let me grab a pen. He came over to this site and he said, all right, I'm going to take this item. I'm going to add it to my cart. I'm going to log in, and Amazon's going to say, hey, Renato 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, where do you want to ship this funny light? And Renato is going to type in the box, John Doe, and John Doe's address, because eBay gave it to him. So John Doe bought it, gave him $42. Renato came over here, fulfilled the order, didn't take any product, didn't put any in his garage. It's called drop shipping. I invented it 10 years ago. And before you guys have any questions, because I know that just looks too smooth, too slick, unbelievable, can't be done, impossible, is it really that easy? And I know you're going to have some questions, but I've done this a million times, and I can give you your answers right now without even seeing them. Why would they buy it from eBay instead of buying it from Amazon? Did you know the price of this funny-looking light before I just came over here? Of course you didn't. You might have thought this is $5. You might have thought it was $100. All right? Now, some people do price compare online. A lot don't. If you look at the clothes you're wearing right now, the jeans, the sneakers, the socks, the shirt, I would bet you a dozen donuts you did not get the lowest price on the planet on those shirts and jeans and sneakers. When you go pick up a can of Coke at the gas station, you don't say, wait a minute, hope I'm going to go over to Walmart because this Coke's cheaper. I'm not paying $1. I can pay 52 cents here. All right? You just don't do it. People want convenience. They buy it on eBay because eBay is known as the marketplace where you get good deals, right? That's cool. If you're a little bit older, you might remember this. You go to the flea market, right, and have all this used stuff at the flea market. You thumb through the baseball cards or whatever. And then what did flea markets become? They became commercial. You would go in there and be bubble-packed stuff from dollar stores and things like that. 10 years ago, I started doing this. First year or two, I was just kind of getting my feet wet. Then we went to $1.2 million. We capped at $1.8 million. I never really shared it, never brought it to market, did very well with it, and now it's kind of being open up to everyone. Is there saturation? There's 26 million items. Remember when I searched blue, there was 2 million items? There's 26 million items on Amazon alone, and you're going to learn how to vary your titles and outsell everybody and everything else. So no saturation. And let me give you the final component. Okay, cool. Roger, I believe it works. I'm going to give you another few minutes of my time. Awesome. What do you do now? Well, what you would do is you would say, hey, if this cat here is getting $38.95, Surely if I have a better title than him, because Roger, Hitesh, and Kevin have a title optimizer that smokes everybody's in the world, and I'm 37.95, I'm going to make those sales, and I'm going to pick up that $60 next week. And how long is it going to take you? 4 minutes to list an item. What's your risk? 0 risk. So this is what you have, is the first 0 risk model. Sell high, buy low, no risk. Everybody can do this. I know you guys can. And this is what we call the beginning stages of your retirement. We also call it pro. Back to you, Mr. Hitesh. You might.
Thank you very much. No, I muted myself in time.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Now, I want you guys to pay very close attention to one particular statement that Roger made. Okay, this is very important. At about 4 minutes ago, he said, "I bet you a dozen donuts this works."
Uh-oh.
You know Roger is serious when he's willing to risk his donuts. So anyway, now guys, I actually want to clarify something. At this point, you're used to this, right? You're used to, at this point, somebody in the webinar, because your mind has just been blown by the possibilities, and somebody comes along and says, "Oh, and just pay me $1 million and I will show you how to make $1 million. Pay me $1,000, here's my $3,000 coaching package," or something stupid like that. Obviously, we're not like that. So we're not going to do that. But on top of that, I actually want to address some of the issues, because these are questions that should come up in your head. And if they haven't, I'll bring them to your head, because it's part of our job as presenters to make sure you guys understand some of the other issues. Now, this is the basic model, right? This is the basic of all business. We have a supplier and we have a marketplace. In our case, the supplier is Amazon and the marketplace is eBay. You're going to grab a product from supplier. You're going to walk over here and give it to somebody on the marketplace, and you're going to make some money doing that. Now, there are some problems with this, though, okay? There are problems like understanding the nuances of the whole thing. Like, what happens if somebody wants a refund, or what happens if, you know, does it affect that Amazon is going to use their logo on there, or blah, 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 things like that. The other question that comes up is researching the right product to sell. How do I know what to sell? How can I make sure that I'm going to make a profit on a product? Okay. The other issue is about image usage. Can you just take images from Amazon and put them on eBay, and eBay will not be upset about it? You have to do something about that. And what about the format of the images? Would eBay get upset about those? Then how do I target my audience properly on eBay? And then what about competition and saturation? Okay. I believe at this point, with these 5 points, I think I've addressed everybody's questions that you can even think of at this point. Okay. So I'm going to address these really quickly, and then we'll move on to step 2, because it doesn't end here. Okay. This is the beginning step to get us into profits. Then we're going to take our profits and we're going to turn it into massive income. Okay. So let me address this really quickly. The first problem is, how do I understand the whole process? How do I create the account? What if I'm overseas? What is this? What is that? So for that, that's why we use, in the middle of these 2 things, we have the engine that makes this whole thing work is DS Domination. Remember, I showed you right in the beginning, we're going to leverage this one platform that's very popular in the US. We're going to use that, and here's how we use that. So in DS Domination, first of all, we have all of this training, okay, that walks through the entire process, how to set up your account and this and that, okay, and it goes through all of that. But on top of that, it actually has some very unique software. So remember when we said, how do I research the right product to sell? Here's how we research the right product to sell. We go ahead and type in a keyword. In this case, I just typed in crossbow, okay? And now we're going to find the best product to sell. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say, show me products that cost less than $80, or, you know, let's say less than $70, and their old price, which is the market price. Show me the products that their market price is greater than $80. So clearly there's a difference in what I can buy it for, what I can sell it for. And I only want good products, right? I only want to deal with good products. Show me products that are rated higher than 4. And I'm just going to hit enter. And immediately, in basically a moment, it shows me a product that costs $48.99 on Amazon. Its market value is close to $90. And it's very popular. As you can see, 317 reviews on it. And it's rated very high as well. Here's what I would do. I would literally just open this in a new window, and I will get to copy pasting this over to my eBay listing. Okay, that's how simple that process becomes. Okay, and just to be clear, we're not selling you the software or anything like that. All of this is just a part of the platform. We're showing you how the whole thing works. Okay, that's just one example. I could actually do that with other things as well. Here is another one. I just typed in headset. Okay, I'm gonna say show me something that costs less than 20 bucks and that I can sell for maybe greater than 30 bucks. Okay, and show me something that has the rating of greater than 3.5. We hit enter and boom, there we go. 20 bucks that we can buy it for, $31 estimated market value, very popular product. We could probably sell it, it has high rating as well. And this is just an example. You could repeat this with a million different products. Like we said, there's 26 million just on Amazon. Okay, so that's the first step. That's very easy now, right? We can use the software and this step is done for us. We don't even need to use our brains anymore. Next is the image usage. What about images? What happens if eBay is upset about using the images and things like that? Well, here's what you do. Within this platform, we use the second thing, which is the eBay, which is the image optimizer. So all I did is I grabbed an image from Amazon, okay, and I just literally uploaded it here, and now I'm just going to select an area of this. I'm going to click on crop, and this is going to insert my eBay username on the top right. It has optimized the image now, so I can just go put this on eBay, and eBay will no longer have an issue with this. Okay, so again, our other problem of image usage and what about eBay being upset with Amazon images, things like that, that issue doesn't even creep up anymore because that's already fixed with the platform. The final problem is, how do I make sure that I can connect to the right people on eBay who need to buy my product, who are looking for my product? And for that, what we use is called the title builder. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. Remember how we looked up crossbow in the research of the products? I'm just going to type crossbow in here, and this is going to go research eBay. It's going to tell me, here is where you should place the crossbow, but look, here are all the other places where people in this niche are looking for items. So we can list our item on these different categories as well. And here are the keywords that people are typing in on eBay for the stuff. So all you have to do is, after you go through Roger's training on the stuff, right over here, after you understand the process, you're just going to use the software to create the perfect title, to target the perfect person, use this software to find the perfect products to sell, use this software to get the image right, and basically brainlessly in about 7 minutes, you are done with the whole process. Okay, now comes the final question. What about competition and saturation? Okay, now first of all, if you use the right titling systems and if you use the right products and research the right products, you really don't have to worry about it, because at this point there are roughly 26 million products just on Amazon alone. Okay, and remember what I said, we're not trying to make a giant business out of this. We're just trying to sell enough. We're just trying to make enough profit that we can actually make $1,000 a month total. Okay, it's not very hard to do. Our aim is not to make millions of dollars. So we don't even have to think about competition and saturation quite as much at this level. Okay, now if you have other questions beyond this, we'll answer those too, but I want to continue with this for a second. Now at this point, a very obvious question comes up. Okay, how do I price my product? How do I make sure that I make a profit? Here's how you make a profit. You make sure your cost from Amazon of the product, so your cost on Amazon, and then you look at what it will cost you to sell on eBay. Okay, and then you look at your cost on eBay. And here is a very, very simple way to do this. And there's actually a calculation system in there. All you have to do is make sure that the Amazon cost is less than eBay cost plus eBay's cost to the eBay fee and the PayPal fee. Okay, so there's an eBay fee plus a PayPal fee. So as long as you make sure that your cost from Amazon is less than that, you're going to make a profit. Okay, and that's part of the way that you research the products, and that's all in the training. We walk you through the entire process. But the next question becomes, okay, what about my cost of using this platform? I'm sure this platform, DS Domination, that's playing the middleman here, is going to charge me something for each of these sales. And the reality is it's not going to charge you anything. In fact, to use all of that training and all of the software that I just showed you and everything else is actually included in the first step here, which we call DS Domination Pro. Now, DS Domination Pro has unlimited usage, and it only costs $19.95 a month. So basically, in 2 sales, we make our money back. But on top of that, we're going to do something unique. I'm going to show you a way to get this for virtually free, to get this virtually for free towards the end of the webinar, okay? So just remind me of that in the chat box later that, oh, we talked about how to get this virtually for free. But at this point, all we are doing is grabbing stuff from Amazon, listing it on eBay. Once it sells on eBay, which means we've already made the money, then we take the money and buy it on Amazon. And at this point, once we started doing this, in our first 30 days or so, we're going to shoot for $500 to $1,000 a month, okay? Once we get to $1,000 a month, we're going to take this and we're going to move on to step 2. And in step 2, we are going to start making a ton more money. And here's how we're going to do that. We're going to first of all increase the money we make per sale. Then we're going to increase the number of products we sell, increase our product sales, and we're going to diversify our income, which means we're no longer just using suppliers Amazon. We're actually going to use tons of other suppliers as well, in addition to just Amazon. And we're actually going to use other marketplaces in addition to eBay. Okay, so now we're completely diversified. We're no longer reliant on just Amazon or just on eBay. So this whole idea of competition and saturation gets thrown out the window by the time we move to step 2, because we have no supplier that we have to be reliant on and no marketplace that we have to be reliant on. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pass this on to Roger again, and he's actually going to walk us through some of the stuff in step 2, how we can diversify our income, how we can maximize our income. And I want you to note, even at this point, there is no traffic, there is no tech stuff that we have to deal with. None of that stuff needs to be dealt with at any of these points. And before I give it to you, Roger, I want to say one thing. All of this is entirely above the board. All of this is entirely compliant with every one of these companies. All of this helps every single one, because here's what's happening. Remember, the consumer pays the right price for the product. He pays the price that he's comfortable with. You, as the middleman, make the money on it. eBay makes money on it because they're making sales. Amazon makes money on it because they're making sales. And the manufacturer of the product makes money because he's making sales. It's everybody wins all around. Okay, this is the basis of e-commerce. This is the basis of all free market transactions. This is not illegal. This is not against anybody's terms of service or anything like that. In fact, we'll actually show you where eBay specifically talks about how this is a very acceptable way for you to run this. Okay, so I'm going to take this on. I'm going to pass this over to Roger. Roger, if you would just show us some examples of what we would be doing in step 2, which we call elite, and we're just going to be taking our profits from step 1 to do this, that would be awesome. So, Roger, can you grab the screen?
There we go. Hey guys, thanks. I appreciate that. Hitesh, great explanation. And you know, I know when you get on a webinar, you're thinking $1 million is on the line. You'll just check it out. And I noticed one thing that you might have keyed in on and said, "Aha! I got these guys now." I said it takes 4 minutes to put an item up on eBay. That's because I never used the title optimizer. I didn't have access to it. Remember, when I was doing it, I never met Sharpie Sharp over there, who's got all these great tools and software, and now everybody's making even more money. So it would take me 4 minutes, and I was doing the titles in my head, and now everybody's making a lot more money, spending a little bit extra time with the software. So I'm out there, guys, and I discover this, okay, and I'm running a pizza restaurant 86 hours a week, and it works. I sell something. I'm like, holy jumpins, I made some money. And you don't understand this unless you've like grown something really big and made a ton of money with it. But you don't believe it's true. You don't even think about scaling it up. I was like, man, I can make an extra $50 go out drinking this weekend. You know, that's how I was thinking. And then as it evolved, I was like, wow, I'm up to 400 listings. I got enough money to stay home. Life is good. Extra pizza on the weekends, maybe one extra vacation. Woot, woot. And I was excited. And then as I started to evolve, went up to 1.2 and $1.8 million in sales, I started to discover, to accommodate that, I discovered other sites that I could do this from, okay? I discovered I could make a heck of a lot more money, all right? So in the training the lady is referring to is kind of the second evolution of me where I was doing well on Amazon. I was making some money, thousands of dollars, and then I went out and started going, holy jumpins, this is bigger than a little secret discovery I made up. This is universal facts. This is supply. This is demand. I don't have to have a physical Walmart store. I don't have to have electricity. I could never get there. I could save my whole life and hopefully buy a 7-Eleven or a Subway or something like that. But now, because of online shopping and the existence of eBay, snap of the finger, I'm in the fold of suppliers and demand and product and everything else. I'm in the door. So I start going to look around. I discover all these other sites with a lot higher profits, and then it was just like Fantasy Island type stuff. Anybody on here is over 35 years old. The plane, Fantasy Island. I'm going to give you some examples of things that we've sold recently. Okay. This is a fold-away cot mattress. Showing what this is. Sold one of these for $241.75. All right, and the cost on that was $179. All right, a markup of about $65. Substantial compared to what you saw on Amazon, and it's only going to get bigger and better. $434 for this commercial-type water park. We went around and sold that for $1,576.50. A markup of $1,100. Imagine making $1,100 minus some fees on a sale. You'd probably work all week long for that, and probably then some. I'm just going to pour out examples here, guys. This is some sort of weather-type device. We sold two of them for $219.58 each. Our cost was $99. All right, so we had that marked up $120. Sold two sets of them, made $240. Here's a patio furniture set that cost $449 from one of the suppliers that we use. And we turned around, we sold three of those in 24 hours right here, and we sold them for $546. So we made a few $100s, 24 hours work. I don't know if a surgeon makes that in 24 hours, okay? And it took 4 minutes to list the item. Thought I'd throw in a crazy, wacky item. This is actually a chicken coop. The cost was $288. We went around and sold that for $395.97. Television set, sold it on eBay, $4,399. Our cost on the TV set after rebates and stuff was $3,300. In case we have, know this, we have people all around the world in DS Domination using our platform to marry companies together with eBay, with Google, with everything else to make money. So this is an example of a UK sale that we made where we sold it for the cost was $299. We actually got a 10% discount, so the cost was $269. We sold it for $379 on the eBay UK market. Here's an item one of our students that was doing DS Domination sold 69 times. Now, if I showed you this one kind of jumped out at me. This is something I put in my cottage or my kitchen, $170. I don't think anybody in this call would say, hey, that probably cost $170. Sold it for $349, 69 times. Made about $8,000 off that one listing alone, okay? So this is what we call elite, okay? This is where you step it up and you go from same process, exact same process, different suppliers, and one touch of the button. I know Google's a scary word, but I remember in like a student teaching or something, and somebody, I heard of Google? What, giggle? I don't know what that is. But it's a scary word. How can I market on Google? I can't even figure out the dang Gmail. But to market on Google, we have it set up. It's 2 clicks of a button. All right, you have all your listings on eBay, and you click a button twice, and they're all out on Google. Okay, that's how powerful this is. We call this elite. A lot more money to be made. Why? Multiple suppliers, different styles of product, less competition, multiple marketplaces, everything else. Step 1, $20. Get some money in your pocket, basically risk-free. Cash is going to show you how to get it for free, as a matter of fact. Step 2, this is elite. This is big boy stuff. This is where you look at your boss in January, February, and you go, you get your own coffee because I'm not interested in doing that anymore. Back to you, Atesh.
Thank you, Roger. Well, very nicely put that you're not interested in getting coffee anymore. I don't know if that really works for everyone, but okay. So, guys, follow along with the business plan, okay? Like we said at the beginning, This is an entire business model. This is not some method. This is not some loophole. This is not some trick. This is an actual business model. Okay. So we started out the business model by leveraging DS Domination as a platform, all the software, all the training, all that fancy schmancy stuff. And we're leveraging Amazon and eBay. And it basically costs us 20 bucks. And even that, we're going to learn how to get that virtually for free. Then we move on to the second step, which is Elite, which we just showed you. Now we're going to diversify our income, make it a lot bigger profit per sale. We're going to increase the number of products we're going to be selling. And this is, again, going to be using the DS Domination platform. We're still going to be benefiting from all the software, all the training. We'll have all of these sites exposed to us. All of this is on DS Domination Elite. Now, Elite costs $99 a month. Okay? But remember that we'll only pay this out of the profits we're already making. Okay, so our actual cost for using this is still going to be zero out of pocket. Okay, so now what we've done is we've used all the suppliers, and all these suppliers are now we're selling on eBay with, and not just on eBay, but also now on Google as another marketplace. Now, I want to be very careful here. We're not going to actually be selling on Google ourselves. We won't pay the money for it. We won't run PPC campaigns. We won't optimize for Google. And we won't even interact with Google. It'll actually be done for us by leveraging one of our marketplaces. Okay, so that's actually all covered within the DS Domination Elite level as well. Okay, so what has happened at this point is that we've now started expanding our income. We're going to go from $1,000 a month or so, and we're going to go up to maybe, let's say, $2,500 to $5,000 a month. Okay, that's really what we are shooting for at this stage. Okay, does everybody understand? You're not going to make this tomorrow. That we're not saying tomorrow you're going to make 5,000 bucks. We're saying if you follow this business plan, you follow this business model, and you do this appropriately, and you scale with it and do it properly, you're going to get to that stage. That's our aim to get to in second step. Okay, we're slowly going to get to that. Maybe if you start today, let's say maybe within the next 3 months. Then we're going to do one final thing, which is a lot of you are aware, you go to get a credit card and all these companies tell you, we'll give you 1% cash back, we'll give you 2% cash back, and so on and so forth. There's all these manufacturers and all these companies and all these marketplaces, all these suppliers who want to bribe you to help buy products from them. Guess what? We can actually tie that in, and now we can make an even higher income on what we're already doing. So we're not going to change anything. We're now just going to add a little tweak to this with a little benefit within DS Domination. We're going to use another component of step 2, which is called Unleashed. Okay, now, as opposed to Pro and Elite levels, it's not going to cost us anything monthly, but instead it's kind of like getting an insider database into getting these massive deals on the things we're already doing. So Unleashed is going to cost us $249 one time, but again, we're not going to pay it unless we're making money. Okay, so write that down. We don't want you to spend money unless you're making money. And here's what that's going to do for us. On each sale, we're going to get cash back. We're going to actually make money back. We're going to get special bonuses from these companies because we're selling so much stuff for them, right? I mean, imagine at this point, you're selling a bunch of product for all these different companies. So these companies are going to come around. They're going to actually pay you for doing that for them. So this is going to actually increase our dollar per sale even more. Okay, so I'm going to actually show you some examples. Not me. Again, Roger's going to show you the examples. So Roger, if you want to make yourself a presenter quick and show us some more examples, okay, specifically of what happens when you start plugging in the cashback stuff into this as well. And I want to be clear, you can use this cashback kind of stuff at any situation. You could even use that for your own personal purchasing that you do. Okay, so this is not just restricted to stuff that you're selling. You could do that even just for your own stuff if you wanted to. Okay, so that's what we're going to do in the Unleashed part of step 2. So Raj, do you have the screen now?
Yep, absolutely, guys. Thank you. And just so nobody gets scared, we're not going to say at the end of this webinar, get all of this for $249 plus this, plus this, plus this. But today, you're going to be able to start for $0 to $19.95. He's going to show you to start for $0 shortly. But if you want to just skip the $0 start and go in for $20, you're going to get the 20-something videos where you look over my shoulder and watch me do it on the screen. You're not going to get an ebook. You're going to get a video, short 5-minute one, setting up your eBay account. Short 5-minute one, listing an item. Short 5-minute one, doing this. So there's no like big bundle coming at you. In fact, we're going to stop you from attempting to go all in and buying multiple products and getting confused. Our goal here, Our worst selfish goal that you're going to see out of us is we're going to provide so much content and training and support for you that you'll want to stay a long time and pay a monthly of $19 or $99 for such a long time because you're making so much money. If there was a selfish goal on our part, that would be it. We want to blow you away so you guys will stay and continue to make money with us, okay? So exact same items up here on the screen, guys. And there's hundreds of more in my file. I just didn't have a chance to buy them. They got a new question box on GoToMeeting. I was in there answering questions. I'm pretty excited about the new question box. But what happens is, if you're at the elite level and you don't have Unleashed, the $249 product, you sell this and you make whatever it is that I showed you made there. Cost $241, and it was $179. The cost is $179. Sold for $241. A markup $65. So after fees, you make about $40, $50. But what happens if you're on the Unleashed, the same exact process, only you make an additional $25, okay? Because the percentages we can get back from these companies, and we allow you guys and show you guys how to do that in Unleashed. So here, you sell this, costs $434, and you sell it for $15.76, of markup $1,100. Nobody would feel bad about that. That'd be one heck of a day, right? But if you have Unleashed, you actually pick up another $65 or 15%, okay, just for having it. So again, you can see the model here, and I can go through here. This particular company, it's not going to cost $99. It's going to cost $80. This company here, you're going to get $88 off. This company here, you're going to get $42 off. All of these sites. And I can go through it and go through it and through it again. But the reason we put this up here and separate out and stuff like that, and if you go back and appreciate the model again, $20, I start making some money. 83% of the people are making money in their first 30 days. It's all copy and paste. I know I can do it. Okay, cool. I could swing that. It's not even a risk. It's a $20 bill, even if we owned eBay and Amazon, put some smoke and mirrors up here, which clearly isn't the case. And then when you're in the $99, we don't even want you to go out and get the Unleashed, but if you're just going to all of a sudden say, you know what, I'm making thousands of dollars, and I'm buying thousands of dollars of the product, not out of my pocket, mind you. So I might as well make an extra $500,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month by having the Unleashed and getting all the cash backs. And this is what DSD Unleashed is about, and just making more money doing the exact same thing. Back to you, Atish.
Okay, guys, I want to actually address a couple of questions right now very quickly. An obvious question that's going to come up at this stage is, okay, how about if I want to get started? And I want to be very clear. You're not paying us money. We are not saying give us $500 or something ridiculous like that. What we're saying is the cost of using the DS Domination Pro platform that makes this whole thing kick, that makes the whole thing happen, that costs $19.95 a month. Okay, so you guys can just go access that right away. And it's very easy. All you have to do for that is just go to this URL, dsdomination.com/signup. Okay, and you guys can do that whenever you want. There's no pressure from us. I'm actually going to address some questions. I'm going to walk over a couple of things quickly. Here's what the sign-up process would look like for you. You would go there. It's going to show you the whole thing over here. And it's going to show you the person who brought you to the webinar or brought you over here. It's going to show their information here. Make sure this is the right person's information, okay? And you'll create your account and you'll be good to go. Now, while you guys are doing that, I'm going to address a couple of questions. I'm going to show you guys how you can get this virtually for free, okay? Now, within DS Domination, you'll see something over here. It says cash out offers. Now, how many of you have ever gone to Costco or Sam's Club or any other major retailer like that, or if you purchase stuff from Amazon and things like that? If you've done any of those things, just say yes, I have. Okay, that way I know that we know people who are familiar with that. Okay, awesome. So there are people who are familiar with this process. Now, what happens when you go to Costco? They say you need to have this American Express card so you can buy stuff from Costco, right? Why does Costco do that? Why does Costco tell you to have that American Express card? That's because American Express pays Costco money whenever you guys apply for the American Express card through Costco, okay? It's a very simple arrangement they have. But guess what happens? That's not restricted. You can go out there and do with many other things as well. So within DS Domination, they have similar connections built up, but there's something very unique there. You can go in and you can actually connect to Discover, for example, if you apply for a Discover card through DS Domination, DS Domination gets $45 from Discover. But here's the fun part. Instead of keeping that money gets transferred to you immediately. Okay, so you would actually see your approved balance suddenly goes to $45. So within your first 10 minutes of being a pro member, of being a member of DS Domination, you could actually have already made 3 months worth of that money just by applying for a Discover card. Or you could go and apply for Disney. Right here, look, Disney's Movie Club. If you get 4 Disney movies for $2 each, they'll give you $17. So the point is, instead of keeping that money just gets passed on to you guys, so you actually can make that money right off the bat. And all you would do is you take this approved balance, and then you would go ahead and transfer it over to your bank account, or to get a check for it if you want, or whatever you want to do. And for that, you just go over here and fill out the iPayout settings, and they'll transfer it to your account. Okay, so really, really beautiful stuff here, in that you actually can make, within your first 10 minutes, 3 months worth of DS Domination stuff right off the bat. Okay, all right. Having addressed that, there are some other questions that I want to address. The first one I want to address about is specifically about support. What happens if I'm stuck somewhere? What happens if I need some more help and things like that? First of all, the very first thing you guys are going to do, go into DS Domination Pro, and you're going to see this live training there. Go to that and register for the live event. And every Wednesday, there's a live question and answers training session where Roger is on there, and you guys can just get on and say, I want to know how to make money with lobsters. Okay? And then we walk through the entire process of exactly what you guys have to do to start generating an income with that. We can look over what you're doing already and stuff like that. So there's massive amounts of support inbuilt, because every week we do that live. On top of that, we actually have live Facebook groups. So, and this is awesome because we get to see what's going on with other users of DS Domination as well. So somebody, for example, just became a power seller, which means they've sold so much on eBay with this that they're now a power seller. Somebody just made 2 sales in one day. They posted this 7 hours ago. Somebody just sold 13 items on eBay, and that was 5 hours ago. So awesome stuff like that. You guys get plugged right in, and you can actually start benefiting from this, work with the whole group, and they'll share some of their successes. They'll talk about some of the tricks that might be working for them, stuff like that. And finally, if you have some other question beyond all of these things that are going on, if you have something else, you actually can go down here, just click on contact us and open a support ticket. And then Roger or me or one of our support staff is going to look it over and get in touch with you and help you with that. Okay? Now, understand something. All of this, all of that stuff that I just mentioned is not going to cost you money. We don't want money from you. Our aim is not to make a bunch of money off of you. The aim is for you to be successful using step 1, so you are making immediate profits. Okay? And here is how effective that really is right now. DS Domination is closing up on 15,000 total members. Okay, that's a pretty massive size, as you can imagine. Out of the pro users that we can look at, okay, we have looked at about half of them. Okay, 83% of pro users are in profit within their first 30 days. Okay, remember right what I said right in the beginning? This whole process that everybody else is out there pitching for you and trying to get you to give them money for has a 98% failure rate. Over here, 83% of people made profit in their first 30 days. And on top of that, 90% plus of the users in DS Domination, of DSD users, stay on for next months. Okay, that right there should show you something. If 90% of the people are sticking on and continuing on from that point on, that's how many people are being profitable with this, or they're making good income with that. So this is a kind of flipping everything on its head. The idea here is that you get plugged in, you don't pay anything for the software, you don't pay anything for the extra training, you don't pay anything for the support, you just leverage the DS Domination platform because of the size that it has now. You leverage Amazon and eBay, start making money, take those profits, go to Elite and Unleashed, and start making a lot more money by leveraging the Elite side of things, which Elite, for example, as you can see here, has its own set of software, it has its own live training every week, and so on and so forth. Okay, so hopefully this makes sense. Does this business model make sense? Do you guys understand the idea behind this business model? Because there is a step 3 to this. And before we get to the step 3, I want to make sure that all of you understand the business model and the idea behind the whole thing. Okay? Okay, I'm going to answer a couple of the questions that are coming in while you guys are going out and creating your accounts. Okay, so there's a question about the sign up. You just go to this link I'm actually going to put this in the chat box so everybody gets that link. You can go to that link, create your account. This is what the process would look like. It's very straightforward. And I'm going to answer a couple of questions while you guys are doing this. Okay, so while you guys are doing this, one question came up about, do I need a PayPal account for this? Yes, you need a PayPal account to be selling on eBay. Okay, you absolutely need it. PayPal is a company owned by eBay, so they make you really use PayPal for that. Okay, that's one thing. Second question was about, what do I do with my, basically here's the question. So let's say somebody pays me $40 with PayPal on eBay. How do I take that $40 and buy stuff from Amazon? Okay, so I'm actually going to do something that companies are notorious for not doing. Okay, here is what happens. So here is your PayPal account. Somebody just paid you $40 in here. Now, Amazon, meanwhile, you have to buy the product from Amazon, let's say for $28. Just giving an example, right? Let's say that you have to now pay $28 here. You can't wait for PayPal to give you the money into your bank account and go through that. And right in the beginning, when you first start out, what's going to happen is, since you're a brand new seller, PayPal and eBay are going to say, we want to make sure that you guys are legitimate. So we're going to hold this money. Tell us when you have sold the product. So what you would do is, you'll go to Amazon and you will order the product for $28. Then you will take the tracking number that Amazon gives you, and you'll give that tracking number to PayPal, and PayPal will release that money. Okay. Second thing you can do is that you can actually, if you're in the US specifically, you can get the PayPal debit card or a PayPal credit card. It's the PayPal and MasterCard have a relationship. So you can get the PayPal MasterCard and you can use that to purchase stuff from Amazon. Finally, worst case scenario, and I want to clarify, once you've done this for a little bit more and you've actually had experience with this, PayPal will remove the restrictions and you guys will be able to do it all the time. Okay. Final thing is, let's say worst case scenario, PayPal has the money in hold. You have to get this item to the user. You can just use any credit card, any money that you might be using right now. You can just use that, get the product through Amazon, and give the tracking number to PayPal, and then the money moves to your bank account. So if you had to use a credit card for this, worst case scenario, you'll get the money from PayPal a few days later, and you would just pay off your credit card with that. Okay, and that's just like the worst case scenario. Again, most people on webinars are not going to tell you what happens in the worst case scenario, right? They're always going to pay they're going to pay the best case scenario, so you'd buy their stuff. And like I said, we're not looking for you to buy stuff from us. We're just showing you the process of how to leverage this platform. Okay, so that takes care of that. Obviously, in this case, you made a $12 profit, right? PayPal, $40 came into your account. $28 is what your cost was. Let's say this is $40 after PayPal fees and after eBay fees. Then you basically made a $12 profit. So you would usually sell something on eBay for, let's say, $46. That will give you a net of around $40. And if your product on Amazon costed you $33, then you made a profit of $7. Okay? Do you understand the process? It's a very straightforward process. There's nothing confusing about it if you just think about it like regular buying and selling. Okay? Another question that comes up is, what happens if this guy who bought from me on eBay, he wants a refund? What do I do in that case? It's actually very awesome. If you go into DS Domination, if you're a pro member, I'm actually just going to show you right here. Go to this module 11 to 15. It's number 11 or 13, I think. It deals with exactly what to do in case of a refund. And not only does it not cost you anything, it's a very painless process, you will actually get positive feedback off of that most of the time. On top of that, in some cases, like somebody writes you and says, oh, you know, my aunt just bought the same thing for me too, I really need to return this. You can actually get a restocking fee on that as well. So you can actually even make a profit on refunds if you just follow that training process in that part. Okay? So does that answer all the questions? Or are there any more questions that I missed yet? Do you have to purchase the items from Amazon yourself? Well, you're not going to buy anything from Amazon until something is already sold. Okay, our slogan is something like this: sell high, then buy low. Okay, you've all heard buy low, buy high, sell. Oh, sorry, buy low, sell high. You've all heard that phrase, right? The risk with that is that you have to first buy something, then hope that it sells. In our case, you actually sell something first, so you know for a fact you're going to make a profit before you have to ever buy it. All right. let's go. And then, okay, the question about what happens if Amazon includes a receipt, or Amazon includes information and packaging about themselves. Guess what? That is a non-issue. Here's why. 99.2% of the time, and I'm going to actually have Roger show you some examples of this. 99.2% of the time, and that's a natural statistic, people don't care. They don't even look at the fact that it's from Amazon. Okay, they'll still leave a positive feedback as long as they actually got the product that they ordered. They don't care. Okay, they're not going to look at the box and say, "Oh, this person ordered from Amazon." Very, 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 very small percent of people will ever care about it. And in those scenarios, there are things that you can do to deal with that as well. Okay, so Raj, if you want to show a little bit about that,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
why 99.2% is an actual statistic, that would be awesome.
Awesome. And guys, we'll go back to just use your logic here. And again, can you do this? Does this make sense? Is this real? The gentleman I left off with was Renato12345 6. When I click on their name, clearly we didn't get somebody to come on eBay in 2003 and make thousands of sales to get your $20 here tonight. Okay? Now, when you have 13,789 feedback, that means you've sold triple that, because people will leave feedback 1/3 of the time. So this person here has made about 40,000 sales, 40,000 different sales, and has 99.1% feedback. I'll go grab a couple people that I've trained in the past and click on their usernames. I'm just going to bring up their usernames, and we'll take a look at how they're doing. Here's one here, New York with a K. I'll click on that, click search, and I'm just going to some of the larger accounts. Notice the 27,574 feedback. I click on that. And since 2009, 99.2% score. I'll go ahead and I'll look at their items for sale, and they'll look very familiar to you if you've been following along. All white, Amazon, background. Okay, I'll just do one more for you really quick so you don't think I don't know what you think at this point except for how do I sign up, but just in case, I'll do another one. Here's one, BLD304, and I'll click search. And 45,734 feedback, clearly all white backgrounds. And when I click on this seller, that means they've made about 135,000 sales, 99.1. So 99th percentile, using the system, everybody happy as could be, and doing quite well. Back to you, Attention.
Awesome. Okay, one final question. First of all, let me say that all of the questions that you guys just talked about or mentioned, all of this is actually in the training already. So you guys really, we're really just answering so you guys know that we know the answers, and you understand that we're all about helping you guys. But all of these answers are in the pro training, very specifically done. Just one last question I'm going to address, which is, so do I buy the product from Amazon, it comes to my house, and I ship it to the person? Absolutely not. When somebody buys, let's say that Joe bought something from you on eBay for $40. He paid you the money. You're going to go to Amazon, and on Amazon, you're going to put your billing information, but you're going to put Joe's shipping information. Okay, so Joe's shipping info. And that's it. You will never touch the product. You will never see the product. You will never know the product. The product will go directly to Joe, and you guys never have to deal with that, okay? So this is a very, very painless, hands-free system, hands-free way to go about things. All right? Okay. All of this has been dealt with. I think everybody has already finished their sign-up process, and people are back. And now we'll move on to our final step of the journey, which is step 3, okay? Is everybody excited at this point? Does everybody understand everything until this point? You see how different this is from everything else out there, and you don't have to do anything difficult so far? Okay, awesome. We get woohoos from people, so that typically means that people are happy. Okay, so everything is completely different about this so far. Note that you're now in profits, and by the time you get to step 3, you already have a full-time income coming in, okay? Now at this point, I'm actually going to draw a chart out for you guys. I'm going to do a very quick graphing thing, and you guys will understand this hopefully very well, especially with all the news about the economy and what's going on and whatnot. I really want you guys to understand the idea behind the American dream or retirement and things like that. Here's how it goes. You'll find this in any economics book really. This is age, and this right here is income from labor. Okay, income from labor. That means your job, okay, income from a job. When people start out, let's say this is an age of 12. When people start out, they have a very low income, right? That income comes from babysitting or mowing lawns, stuff like that. Then they start gaining some experience. They get older. They can do some different jobs. They get graduation. They get graduated. They now have an education. They get better jobs. Then they move up in the management positions, and eventually their income from labor peaks, and then eventually starts going out. Okay, this is how it usually works out. This is right about they are 18 years old or so. This over here, they are 35 years old or so, and this over here, they are 55. Okay, and this age, 35 to 55, is considered the peak of your income. Okay, this is nothing rocket science. It's just basic economics. And the idea usually that people have is by the time I get to 55, I need to start thinking about my income from non-labor tasks, like income from investments or things like that. So at this point, people consider generating income from non-labor sources, like having investments, 401ks, things like that. Okay, that means they're not directly working for that. Everybody understands this concept, right? This is what everybody shoots for. This right here is now your income from, I'll just call it investment or non-labor sources. Okay, do you guys understand this point fairly easily? That this is what everybody's striving for. Unfortunately, very few people are getting to it anymore. The whole model, the business model that we just showed you so far, is based around very similar ideas. Did you notice how right in the beginning we said, look, you're a 12-year-old or an 18-year-old at this stage of life, what you're going to be doing is using Pro to start generating an income. Get your feet wet, start making an income with that. Then you're going to move to Elite, and you're going to start making a lot more income. And with Unleashed, you're going to maximize your income, and you'll basically be at the peak stage of your income or very close to it. Okay, so this is where you're using Elite and Unleashed. Now you have to think about one very important point, which is, although this is awesome and you're making money with that, you still have to work with that. You have to list items on eBay, you have to research them, you have to ship them out, you have to place the orders for people. So there is manual work involved. You're still trading some hours for money, even though it's really good money. So we have to move on to step 3, which is where now we're going to switch over to our income from affiliate sources. So now we're going to make our income basically as an affiliate, which is going to be our, what we call passive income. Okay, so our affiliate or passive income. And this is the final step. If you're a marketer or if you're somebody who's done marketing already, then this might be applicable to you right away. But for most people, this is like the final step in their journey. Okay, so I wanted to pay attention because I'm going to address some very major issues. And even if you never participate in DS Domination, you don't take away anything from the webinar, this will at least save you a bunch of money and heartache in the coming few days, years, months, whatever. Okay. How many of you have ever participated in affiliate programs, or you've participated in a network marketing company or an MLM company or things like that? Okay, if you've ever done that, no matter what the product was, shakes or coffee or whatever, just say yes, I have, or anything to that effect. Okay, so lots of people, fortunately or unfortunately, you all know that there is a mathematical flaw with that model. Here's what the mathematical flaw is. Here's how they tell you to go about it. This is you, and you get 2 people, and they get 2 people each, and then one of them gets 3 people each, and blah, 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 and so on and so forth, and you will eventually make an income from that. Okay, I'm not necessarily putting it down. I'm just showing you guys the mathematical model behind it. Here's what ends up happening. Understand that the only way for a person in this kind of a setup to make money is for them to have other people joining that system under them. They're building their downline, so to speak. There is a very significant issue with this. There are good things about it, but there's a significant mathematical issue, which is these people at the bottom cannot ever make money. Okay, mathematically, they cannot make money because there are no more recruits coming in. In fact, if everybody in the whole world joined one of these, massive number of people, over 75% of the people, could not physically make money. Okay, it's just mathematically impossible. So these guys start dropping out, which means that this guy drops out because he doesn't making any income, and eventually everybody starts dropping out, and this erosion happens from the bottom up. This is just a mathematical reality of these systems. Now, why does this happen? This happens because of what we call lack of cost offsetting. Okay, and they come up with different ideas behind this. They'll come up with a 2-up system or a 1-up system. This guy gets passed up here, blah, blah, blah. None of that matters. Mathematically, the reality remains the same. So I want you guys to understand this before we move on to this part, because this is going to really play into what we're going to do here. There's some good things about this, though. Okay, when it comes to generating a passive long-term income, there are three conditions. The first is that the income must be residual. Okay, this is why investment income is good, for example. It means you get it without working for it. Okay, that's the first important part about it. The second fact that is very important is leverage. That means your income grows without your effort. Okay, so for example, compounding interest leverages on itself. Okay, and these kind of systems really bank on this residual and leverage. But there's a third very important thing, which is it should be self-sustaining. You can apply these three principles to any investment, to any system, because if it's not a self-sustaining investment, you're going to lose your money. If it's not a self-sustaining business model like an MLM or something, people are going to drop out and you're going to lose your income. Okay, so here's how that plays out. Here's why that's so important. I'm going to talk about how DS Domination, if you are an affiliate for DS Domination, how this thing plays out. So here is DS Domination as a company that earlier you were promoting, let's say some MLM company or so on. Here is you as an affiliate, and here is a customer. Okay, as an affiliate, earlier you would have gone out and tried to get somebody into this kind of a system. Now instead, when you go out as an affiliate, you just post on your Facebook wall, yeah, I'm doing great with DS Domination or whatever. Somebody comes in and they join DS Domination. They spend some amount of money for DSD, basically their pro billing, right? The $19.95 a month. So they are paying $19.95 a month, and you in turn receive a commission for that. But here's what's happening here. There's a basic, simple mathematical law, which is if the customer's red dollar is less than their green dollars, they will stay. Okay, what basically this means in simple terms, in layman terms, is the income that the customer generates from using DS Domination, as long as that is greater than the cost that he's incurring with DS Domination, he will stay. It's basic common sense, right? It's nothing massive. There's no big breakthrough here. It's common sense. But not that this never happens in other companies, so it's never self-sustaining. Here's what's happening with DS Domination. Our first condition was that an income, for it truly to be passive, has to be residual. So in DS Domination, we have a $19.95 per month and a $99 a month on Elite. So as a person comes into the pro level and then moves on to the Elite level, you are generating a residual income from that part. Okay. The second condition is leverage. Now here's how leverage plays out. In DS Domination, what we do is we actually give you 50% commissions right away on any sales. That means if you make 2 sales of pro, your pro membership is virtually paid for. You make 2 sales of Elite, your Elite membership is virtually paid for. And that's extremely easy to do with our system because it's very viral. Now, but on top of that, we don't stop there. What we do is we turn around, we also give you 10% on level 2 and then 5% on level 3. That means basically this. As these people continue this same journey that we just discussed, they go from step 1 to step 2 to step 3. As they continue doing the exact same process, your income automatically keeps increasing without you ever having to put any effort towards it. Okay, and then actually beyond that, on level 6 through 10, you get additional 1% on every one. Okay, so the leverage part is built in now. So you have the residual part, awesome. You have the leverage part, great. Now it comes to the self-sustaining part. Because 83% of our customers in their first month are already profitable, our retention rate is 90%. Okay, now if you've ever been in MLS, which obviously a lot of you guys have been, usually that's like 20 to 25%. 20 to 25% is on average what retention rates in other companies are. In our case, it's 90%. What that means is this is a self-sustaining business model, and it's a self-replicating business model because everybody's making the same journey. They go to pro, become profitable, then they go to Elite, increase their profit level, then they become an affiliate to finally switch their income to passive. And every time they do that, you guys automatically start doing that as well. Okay, so do you guys understand what I just talked about? This is kind of unique. I know it's not usually talked about, but I kind of want to know if you guys understood these 3 conditions and how that applies to this model. Okay, awesome. So a lot of people got it. That's really nice to know because sometimes it's kind of hard to explain some of the more complicated concepts behind this. So here is what you're going to do from tonight onwards. This is going to be your journey. The first thing you're going to do is you will go and you'll sign up. I gave you guys the link in chat box again. you'll go to dsdomination.com/sign up, and you're just going to get Pro. Okay, that's all you're going to get. You're not going to worry about making millions of dollars. You're not going to worry about your lifestyle and living on the beach or whatever. You're just going to get Pro. And what you're going to do is you're going to follow the trainings in here, and you're going to use the software in here to start generating your first $1,000 or so in this month. Okay, that's what you're going to begin doing. All right, just that. Then once you've got to a stage, once you're making your first $100, $300, $400, $500 a month, you're going to take some of that money, you're going to go get elite within DS Domination, and now you're going to expand your income. And when you're doing that, then you will move on to affiliate. Okay, now is this idea clear to you guys? And do you guys see why this is such a unique method and unique method of growth? And I'm going to share something very interesting with you guys. Okay, all the software that we showed you guys on this webinar is all available in Pro. The software in Elite is separate software that's just for Elite. That's in addition to the Pro stuff. Okay, so Pro software is different from Elite software. In Pro, you get the title optimizer, the image optimizer, the research system for Amazon, and you actually get a daily sales tracker as well, which I didn't show you guys yet. But you get all of that in there. Okay. Elite software is separate. That's for elite sources only. Okay, that research is not just Amazon, but all the other sources we will be using too. Okay, so I want to clarify that, but I'm going to show you guys something really unique and awesome. So 4 days ago, this is from November 14. As you can see, actually, the title is November 14 DST results. We actually held a webinar. So we do webinars with all of our members all the time. Like we said, every Wednesday night we have trainings. So if you buy a Pro today, make sure you go and sign up for the training tomorrow. Okay, we want you on the training so we can help you guys more. You can ask questions and stuff. But every few days, we do a webinar across our company. So we had people on. We said, we really want your feedback. What's going on? How do things look? We had 1,000 people on the webinar. I wanted to watch the timestamps. This all came in within 2 minutes. These are all the people who are making money. Can you guys see this clearly? 10 sales in my first week. Yes, making money every day. First sale, $92 profit, and so on and so forth. Here's another one. This is all from the same day, within those 2 minutes. As you can see, $761 in profit so far, made $730 in my first week, and so on and so forth. This is not to say, oh, look at this, you guys need to get it. This is all about saying, look, this is working across the board for other average people. And the reason it's working is, this is not something complicated. This is not some loophole. This is all about just plugging into the classic basic e-commerce model and then graduating on to the affiliate side down the road. Okay? So I really want to make sure that you guys got this, that you understand this is going to be the process you guys are going to use. And I want to make sure that when you sign up for Pro, make sure you go to live training and get registered for tomorrow. We want to see you guys in the webinar as well. Okay? Now, a very obvious question would be, I want to be like these people, right? How are some of these people making all this money? Here's how they're making all that money. Make sure that when you start doing Pro and you start making money, don't stop. Increase your listings. Some of these guys started out just like everybody else. They start out with making 10 listings on eBay. Then they graduate to 50 listings. And then eventually they have 100, 200, 300 listings on eBay. And they're making hundreds of dollars a day just from that. Okay? There's no rocket science. There's no secret to it. This is exactly what all e-commerce is about, and this is exactly what DS Domination is all about. So there's nothing fancy that they're doing in addition to what you guys are already doing. Okay. Does having a confirmed PayPal business offset the hold that they place on your first eBay sale? If you're brand new to eBay, they'll probably still hold your money in the beginning. But if you have some history with using PayPal and you have history with using with eBay especially, then many people don't even have a hold. Sometimes they don't put a hold at all. Okay, so honestly, that's not a major issue. We just like to point that out because we don't want anybody to have a surprise down the road. We want everybody to be very well aware of what's going on. How do we register for the webinar for tomorrow? Okay, Nan, what you do is you log into your account on DS Domination. You go to DS Domination Pro and go on live training and register there. And if you're an Elite member already, go register for the live training for Elite over there. Okay, and okay, so Tia just wrote in. Tia says, I just started in DST last week. I've sold 21 things. I never had a hold on eBay because she's been buying and selling on eBay for a long time. Okay, so hopefully that just gives you guys somebody from this webinar itself. if you never see the product from Amazon, how do you know it is sold as described? Because Amazon has very strict quality control in there, because you are literally representing the product exactly as it is on Amazon. And like I said, Amazon is just the beginning. Amazon is not the end all. Amazon is the first step, and then we go back from there. Okay. Now I want to make sure whenever you go to the sign up page, okay, I want to actually clarify this part one more time. Like I said before, you just fill out the form and go from there. But make sure that when you look over here, you have been referred by whoever. As you can imagine, because this ties in with our third step, it's very, very important for you to make sure that this referrer here, the person who referred you, is the person who invited you on the webinar. So if this says something else, if this says a name of a person that you don't recognize, or if this says a user ID that you don't recognize, make sure you write back to whoever invited you on this webinar and tell them very specifically, I need your link because I want to make sure that you get credited for me finishing this journey from step 1, 2 to 3, and so on. Okay? So I clarified this part earlier, but I just want to clarify it one more time in case somebody did not get on early enough or somebody didn't just see that earlier. Okay? Now, at this point, we have shown you how this is working for average people. I've shown you actually, well, here you go. 23 hours ago, I just made my first sale, yippee. And all these people who have never made money, who have always struggled with this stuff, they're actually making serious income with this. We have hopefully given you guys a very logical process here, right? We did not show you our fancy income statements. We did not show you our $300,000 accounts. I did not tell you about my statistics of all the money I have made or all the money that we have done in the past. We just told you Roger has done this for a long time to tell you he's an expert. And then we showed you a very logical process. At this point, I'm just going to sit back, and Roger is on here, and I just want to make sure that if there are any more questions, that we have all of them answered. Okay? Do you guys have any questions at this point at all? We'd be more than happy to answer them.
Yeah, guys, I'll end with this. You don't know the whole story. I mean, I'm not hiding anything, but there's only so much time in a webinar. I was working 86 hours a week at that restaurant when I kind of discovered eBay. And you know, I wasn't some wave changer or some inventor of some sort of crazy thing, or I wasn't some special mind that made the decision to change my life. I literally want to put a few dollars in my pocket to have some extra money, like to go out and go to the bar or something like that, you know, nothing substantial. And then when I left that restaurant after, you know, I owned half of it, I worked 86 hours a week for 3 straight years, and I came home, and eBay had to work. That's how I was buying the home for my wife. That's how I was starting my family. But the point is, I took the action, right? I took the action to do it. Not telling you guys to take the action to go sign up now. We've showed you enough. If that's not good enough, I don't know what else to show you. I'm not sure why you join a webinar ever again, because this is the best thing on the planet. But when you're in there, one of the skills is not, does it come in a box? Do I have to do that? How do I do this? What about? Understand the cautions and the concerns. It's your money. But the only thing that will stop you is not taking action when you're back there in the training. Okay? I'll leave you with that. Hitesh, anything?
Yes, I'm actually going to. There's a couple, not a couple. There's actually been a lot of questions coming in, because here's why there are questions coming in. I want to say this. I know that all of you. It's like an honest politician, right? This webinar is like your first introduction to an honest politician. It's almost like, what? Those don't exist, right? Because you're so used to being told a bunch of lies, or you being sold something all the time. So when you get on a webinar like this, where we show something so simple and we walk you through the process and we show you everything and it doesn't cost you $1,000 or anything, the first reaction is, can this be real? Can it really happen? It does happen. It's happening right now. There's thousands of people in here and they're doing really well with it. Okay, so there's nothing that we're hiding from you. We're very transparent about all of this stuff. Really just want you to do one thing. Go in, go through the training. What's the worst case scenario that will happen? You spend $20 to become a pro member. That's the worst case scenario. And you get to go through everything else with us. And all of this training that's in here is going to take you less than 2 hours to go through. All of it. All of the training combined is less than 2 hours, because most of the videos are 2 to 5 minutes long. That's it. We're not trying to sell you some mindset thing. We're not trying to give you some nonsense about, you know, trying to waste your time with vague stuff because we need to hide what we really have. This is all straightforward stuff. So you guys will go through this. I hope you'll be very successful with it. All of the questions that are coming up right now, honestly, all of them have been answered, and and we have answered these over and over. But I'll answer again. Yes, the 1995 includes all the software we showed, the title optimizer, the image optimizer, it includes the research system. Julian actually just wrote in, he said, give them my Facebook for proof for those who don't want to believe I've just made 4 sales today, and so on and so forth. We are around forever. This is not a fancy loophole and there's some time limit on it or anything. You can join tomorrow and it's going to work just as well. Although I suggest you do it today because tomorrow we have the live training event again, so you can get on there and go from there. Okay. I would just suggest 3 very practical things for you guys to do. Okay. Step 1, join DST. That's obvious, right? Step 2, register for live training tomorrow. Step 3, go through all the training tonight. It's going to take you just 2 hours. It's not going to take you a long period of time, but this is going to be the difference between you guys and everybody else. If you just go through this training, that's the difference between this 83% of people who make the profit and the 17% who don't, which is really hilarious to say it that way, right? Because usually people are like, only 2% people make money. The difference between those 2% and the rest of you is those 2% took action. In our case, just take action, and that's where you will end up, okay? If you need help, you will be on the webinar tomorrow, and we'll be more than happy to help you guys. All right, so I'm going to close out with all of that stuff. If you have any more questions, feel free to contact us, and we'll be more than happy to talk with you guys. And other than that, just keep dominating with DS Domination.